everyone, and welcome. I'm Suzie with Organized Zen, and we're welcoming you to your Success Guide series. This is Making Success Happen. Let's talk the power of passion and purpose. I'm here today with Linda Bard, also known as the Soul Brand Strategist at her company, Find Your Creative Voice. A passionate and rebellious Renaissance woman, Linda has been a creative entrepreneur and storyteller for more than 2 decades. And so it is no surprise that I'm here with Linda today. Linda, I really was inspired to talk about passion and purpose with you because I know for myself in my journey, it took me 14 solid years of reading, What Color's Your Parachute, and taking all those Myers-Briggs tests and all sorts of things to try to figure out what my passion was, because I had so much drive and energy, but I didn't know how to direct it. And I was really unfulfilled and unhappy in my work environment. And yet, on a deeper level, I knew that I was put here to do something, and it was really frustrating not knowing what that was.
Yeah, that is the challenge for women, anybody, but women entrepreneurs who are really coming into this phase of their life where they're owning what their passion is, trying to identify it, trying to move it forward, because a lot of the women that I work with, they're very accomplished, they're very smart, like I say, they're savvy, they're successful, but they have played by all the rules, done all the things, followed the path, even in stuff that they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But it's not that soul piece. It's not the calling piece. And what I love to do is work with women who really want to own that piece of themselves so that they can identify what that work is. And it's challenging because for a lot of women who are ultimately entrepreneurs, but they are healers in a way. They're healing a lot of the way that work in the world is done. And that there's a lot of resistance around that from others, and there's also a lot of resistance within ourselves about this. There comes a time, and it depends on, for every woman it's different, but usually it's some sort of life event that creates a moment where the hamster wheel, the merry-go-round stops, and they have that opportunity to sit and be quiet and go, what if tomorrow was my last day on earth? Am I going to be happy continuing to do what I do? And asking that question, a lot of times people are very scared about asking it because it does open a Pandora's box. One of the things that I say to the women that I work with is, are you ready, and this speaks exactly to what you're saying, are you ready to stop living somebody else's version of your life?
Why is passion important? Why do you think that's important in our lives?
And you ask me this because, of course, my life lesson is being disconnected from passion.
How ironic.
Yes. And so I have been on a quest my whole life to reconnect. And that is one of the reasons why I bring into my circle passionate people like you, because I love, I need that expression, that experience, being able to witness it, and just to understand what it means for me. And I'm very passionate about many things, but because of I'm sort of more of an analytical type person, I can have a tendency to get into my head a lot versus my heart. And heart is where the passion lies. So I have to really on a daily basis plug into, what do I want? Literally the passion piece is about asking yourself the question on a daily basis, what do I want?
Passion really creates a meaningful life. Our world becomes more vibrant when we have passion. we become a lot more present and more engaged in our life. You know, I've often said when people that I've encountered in my life, go to your pain to find your passion. That has been my experience, because your painful experiences make you an expert at overcoming them, and then you are really connected to the people that are experiencing those similar painful experiences. I'm really curious on how you define or what you would suggest on guiding people and helping them find their passion.
Well, what I would say is, first and foremost, really need to start listening to that inner voice. A lot of women just ignore it. They second guess themselves, they don't tune into it, and they sometimes, you know, because there's also that other voice of, you know, the ego telling you, being your inner critic and all of that.
You're not good enough,
right.
You don't matter.
And that's not the voice I'm talking about. It's the voice that is saying, remember when you really wanted to do this? You know, what was it that gave you joy when you were a little girl? And, you know, what did you put on the back burner? I mean, we don't trust ourselves to think that we know, and we do know inside.
And one of the things I think as well is, right, exactly what you're saying. If you're constantly saying yes to things that aren't lighting you up and feeding your soul, you're getting lost, and you're spending your precious time on things that you don't love, and it's taking you farther away from your passion. So one of the suggestions that I offer is making a vision board, and really start, even if you spend like a week, and start paying attention to what lights you up, what fires you, what excites you. Because you can see it when someone has passion. You can see it in their aura, in their face, everything. It is powerful, and it's contagious.
Exactly.
It draws people in, and it encourages others to find their passion too.
And
Something else too that really keeps us stuck in away from prevents us from getting towards our passion is staying the same. The monotony that is so uninspiring and boring, and sometimes even that can push us to our passion.
Well, and I smile when you say that, dear, because, you know, I mean, I've read your hands, and
you have read my hands, yes.
And so your hand shape is a fire archetype, which is about movement, creativity, spontaneity, and you actually do have two passion. No, you have one. You have a passion heart line on your right hand, and so the non-negotiable need for a passionate heart line in terms of how your emotional relationship to the world and the people around you is. You need spontaneity. You need to be immersed in things that are happening. It's like, be in the now. That is your mantra. And the challenge is being distracted by the bright, shiny objects, right? Ooh, ooh, ooh. So sometimes in your case, there's, and of course, in Hannah and Elsa, we call it the Goldilocks rule: too much, too little, just right.
Totally.
But the place of you know, how do I find my passion versus how do I push my passion down a little bit because it's just way too passionate, and you're being distracted by a million different things, right?
It's easy. You know, it's interesting. You know, I'm a lifestyle organizing expert, and the reason why I'm an expert is because I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed.
Yes.
And I know what it's like to have distractions that pull you away from exactly what it is that you want. So you're spot on with that, which is why I have created more structure. So by creating structure in my life has allowed me to stay more focused on following through and getting to the results that I'm wanting to get. But it is very true. Really good quote is, discipline is actually freedom.
Yeah. A lot of creatives don't understand that discipline is really key to their success.
Well, and you were mentioning you have this, one of your core archetypes is rebellion. And so
Yes.
I really relate with you. If any of you out there have that rebellion in you, I'm sure most of you do, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I think that's what rebellion is all about, is carving your own path to follow your passion. That rebellion also can really get in the way of structure and discipline.
Oh, my other lifelong battle. It's about connecting with your life on a soul level. Our soul is really our essence. And so I have this great quote that I wanted to read because it really embodies what my work is about. This is from the writer Rob Bresney, and he also does the free will astrology columns that are found in many of the local papers, alternative papers. Anyway, he says, the soul is a perspective that pushes us to go deeper and see further and live wilder. It's what drives our imagination to flesh out our raw experience, transforming that chaotic stuff into rich storylines that animate our love of life. With the gently propulsive force of the soul, we probe beyond the surface level of things, working to find the hidden meaning and truer feeling. And that sums it up for me in a nutshell. And it really gives a great subtext to the work that I do with hand analysis. I mean, the person who created this system, Richard Unger, it's called the Lifeprint System, he, over the last 40 years, has probably read about 60,000 pairs of hands.
Wow.
And
It's a lot of hands.
it's a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And I'm at about 1,000.
Wow.
But he was able to do the analytic piece of capturing all the data. But then in talking to the people and hearing their stories, he was also able to go, oh, they're talking about this and they have these markers. And then he would check the next time he heard that same story. Sure enough, that person had similar markers. And so he was able to create this repeatable database that plugs into our personality psychology, but via our fingerprints, our soul psychology. And that piece is our agreement for what we came here to do, to live our right life. And so to be able to give someone that information, and interestingly enough, the majority, I have to say 99.2% of the people I've read, when you tell them this information, they totally recognize it in themselves. Oftentimes, either they've been denying it, but more often they haven't been giving themselves permission to live it.
I really like that because this came up a little earlier, is going back to staying on the course of your truth, is we often need affirmations and experiences that are really supportive of us on that path of our truth. And that is what your work does.
Well, and what I say, is like, you wouldn't build a house without a blueprint. You wouldn't go to a foreign country without some sort of guide map to know where the hell you're going. So your hands are that blueprint.
We got it right in front of us.
Right,
it's been in front of you all along.
Yeah. Humans are messy beings, and we've got all kinds of emotions. It gives you that moment of awareness to not always default to the giving up, the beating yourself up, all of the things that we do because that's just the way it is, and nothing I can do about it.
Intention today was to talk about passion and purpose and why it's important and how it can help you in your life feel a lot more connected to others, feel seen and valued and heard, and you gifting that to others so they can feel seen and valued and heard.
It really is about bringing 10% more into your life about the thing that you're passionate about. Baby steps are really, really important here, because part of what is happening is you're really testing the waters. What is it that I am passionate about? Does this work? Does that work? And if you already know, then spend some time volunteering or doing some things where you're connecting at a small level, and perhaps not maybe getting paid for it at that point in time, but what you're doing is you're not feeding your wallet, but you're feeding your heart. Well, you can definitely go to www.findyourcreativevoice.com, and I have videos, and the teleseminar that I'm going to be doing is about what the information in your hands can help you with marketing your business. You just missed my Voice Box karaoke Time to Shine event, which was September 24th, but I will be doing another one next month. I have to put the date together, so stay tuned.
So take a look, learn more about Linda. You can see why I brought her on today. So much wisdom. So thank you so much for joining. And if you are interested in learning more about watching more of these videos, please share and subscribe. You can visit www.organizenliving.com.